If you're listening, whoa. Sing it back. Whoa. I did that on purpose. Poorly, because Jay can do it much better. Two former MLB players are involved with major felony charges. It'd even be difficult for the president to get away. And two real ones called it quits and are hanging out their cleats to their overall good careers. Tony Kemp and Matt Carpenter officially retire as of today. This time last year, there was a player I myself, Jay, and I'm 90% sure Damon would agree, we all would have said, please retire. Let's just flip that back and welcome back Javy Baez. Your hip surgery in the offseason has absolutely cemented yourself as, no, you weren't done. You still got something to talk about. Oh, come on, bud. We have a new ejection record. Terry Lavillo tossed the entire 7-man umpire crew on Wednesday afternoon, doing proof that he has diamond skin and fights for his team. Diamond skin, Diamondbacks, get it? Yeah. He's got their back. The Twins won 11 straight. We're really playing some good ball. Although today, Correa and Buxton had a collision in center field. Correa is surprisingly the one who left the game. Buxton, or as I like to call him, Glass, stayed in the game. Speaking of seeing double, Twins, see what I did there? Yeah. Perhaps the best double teaming I've ever seen on the internet. Take that how you want. The Red Sox double team robbing a home run. Kind of awesome, if I say so myself. I was extremely impressed. It's just right place, right time. But fantastic. It's not like a Savannah Bananas, cool trick they did. It's just right place, right time. But it was awesome. Friday, tomorrow, starts rivalry weekend in the MLB. Phillies at Pirates. Infamous poop game. Yanks Mets, which, in my opinion and Jay's opinion, is the only true rivalry, so rivalry weekend. Nats and O's. A's and Giants. Kind of fits too. Not too much, but it does. Cards and Royals. Sure. Mariners and Padres. Okay, do you know they have a name for this series?
Is it called the series that no one except for Mariners and Padres fans gives a shit about?
And all of grunge fans care about. It is the Vedder Cup. Because Eddie Vedder apparently lived in San Diego and Seattle. Sure, Bobby. Sure. All right, let's get this show going. Enjoy the sweet, sensual baseball banter of Jay and I. Damon is missing in action tonight. We're not exactly sure where he is, but I'm sure that he is not doing anything illegal. But this is Drunks in the Ponds. Be sure to like, follow, comment, and thank you for finally taking advantage of trying to talk some shit to Damon, because we need it to get entertaining here. As always, stay drunk.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, brother.
Drunks on the Pond, episode 48. As Rich said, you already know who it is. I'm Jay, that's Rich. Damon is out, and I actually do know why he's out. Along with the troubles of Rafael Furcal, who was arrested today, assaulting a man with, I can't believe I'm saying it, but a missile, supposedly, and former MLB pitcher, please, Rafael Furcal assaulting someone with a supposed missile. That's what I'm reading. I don't know how true it is, but if the internet says it, it must be true. So that's
correct.
Where I'm at.
You're correct.
And then along with Rafael Furcal, we also have ex-MLB pitcher. You're going to have to pardon me if I miss his name. It's like John or Dan Serafini, whatever. His father-in-law slept with the nanny.
It's coming for you next.
Well, luckily they posted his mugshot, so I think I have some time. But yeah, supposedly his father-in-law sleeping with the nanny, just real desperate housewife activity going on over there.
This is some stuff.
But back to Damon at hand, though. I did hear that Damon might have somebody in a rice paddy, and I heard that his weapon of choice was a yo-yo, and it is now what police are calling a knick-knack paddywhack. But let's talk ball. So Rich brought up Javy Baez, and listen, I don't want to toot my own horn, but last year I said, and you probably remember, that Javy Baez was going to turn it around, and I call it from everybody. Now, obviously, Javy Baez did not turn it around. He actually
You didn't give a timeline. You
He
didn't give a
actually had
timeline.
he actually had his worst year to date. So, and then he got hip surgery, and I think everyone was like, "That's interesting." And then they moved him to the outfield because they were like, "Brother, we don't even know what to do with you." And it turned Javy Baez into an all-star. So, dude, I don't know. First, he hits a walk-off against Boston. I watched that game too. That was a great game. And like, I just watching it, I'm like, why do I feel like I'm watching Javy Baez on the Cubs just dressed as a tiger now? Like his play discipline's 100 times better. I mean, he still screws up here and there, but the guy's hitting almost 300 if he's not over 300. Like,
yeah, I mean, how great would it be to see shades of Javi from 16 to 21?
I
Because
love this. Love it.
I've always loved his play. Like, the dude's talented. He's a great middle infielder, outfielder now. He has good field sense. Not even good. He has great field sense. He's always been that guy you could rely on until he signed a mega contract with Detroit. But let's face it, it's been so long since I've said that.
You did it. You did it. You did it. Drink for that. There you go. Oh, but I'll finish your sentence for you. It definitely is good to see like shades of 16, 17 El Mago, even if it is in center field, not even the infield anymore. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you watch and you're like, man, I really forgot how fun this dude used to be. Like he is just a great ball player.
He's never been that five-tool guy. Speed's not his best friend. He's quick. But he's not anymore. Not with a hip surgery and 12 years in the league. He's still 111 career stolen bases. Nothing really to be sad about. But the one thing that you always had up until the past 2 seasons with him was heart. And so let me put it in more of a baseball perspective. He played with his have to.
His what?
His have to.
What are you saying right now? Are you speaking English?
I don't even know. Neither did Chet Steadman. But you do it with your have to.
I like it. Good callback.
Absolutely. That's one thing the kid always had. Like, he always had heart in this game. He came out and showed you that, okay, tell me when to stop. What? Tell me when to stop.
You can stop. You can stop. You can stop. You can stop.
That was Javy Baez every time he came out on that field from even 16 through 22. I mean, like, even 22 wasn't a horrible year, but that was a bad introduction to a big contract. I've always had respect for the guy. I've never said he was a bum, even when he was on the Mets for that half season. And, we don't take kindly to Mets. There's a handful of Mets that you and I have ever truly respected in our lifetime. A handful.
David Wright, Mike Piazza.
First name on the list is David Wright. Always.
Yeah, I like Mikey. I do have a little respect for Duca. Like, I always like Paul Duca. For some reason, like, he was the one guy on the Mets where
I think it was a Marlin first.
See, I usually bounce between, and I think he was a Dodger too. I usually bounce between the Mets and the Dodgers for Loduca.
Him and Piazza had almost like identical careers. Like,
they really did.
Career paths. It was so weird. Because, like, you moved on from Piazza. Or you moved... Yeah, they moved on from Piazza to Loduca, or other way around?
I'm currently looking up Paulo Duca's baseball.
You do that, and I'll look up
Piazza's. So I think they moved on from Piazza to go to Paulo Duca, and then once they were done with him, they sent him off to Florida. So
what year? No. Piazza was only in Florida for 1 year. He was there in 98.
Okay. All
right, yeah. So they went from Loduca to Piazza. Crazy.
Didn't think we'd get into a Paulo Duca, Mike Piazza conversation tonight.
Hey, let's suspect the goats.
I would say the good. I wouldn't say the goats.
Well,
we've had a lot
Piazza was one of the goats, For catchers,
I'd still go very good. Like,
he's
I
all-time
think
home run leader in catchers.
we have one GOAT, and then, no, I think we have two GOATs, and I think we have a bunch of very goods. Yogi Berra, obviously, at the top. Yogi Berra has done more at the catching position than anybody else.
Yogi Berra's done
Johnny
more than most teams. Like, most
Yogi Berra,
franchises.
Johnny Bench, the line
Yeah.
gets drawn there,
Jimmy
and then it's
Fox.
just very, very good after that. Jimmy Fox is more of a first baseman. I like Jimmy Fox.
Still played catcher for a handful of years, dude.
My favorite Jimmy Fox thing was that Jimmy Fox wasn't signed, but he was captured because the dude was just built like a house. Like, man, dude used to cut his sleeves. What a dude.
You can only be farm strong for so long, and it's so weird to look farm strong back in those days. Meanwhile, well, to cut your sleeve big, yes. The only way you did that is
cut your sleeves.
if you were that mailman who threw like a 106-mile-an-hour newspaper through someone's window every week.
I was gonna say there were a lot of corn-fed boys who were out there just whipping the ball. And
sure,
I mean, first one that comes to mind's friggin' Walter Johnson, who was out in the cornfields and went to California, and then just dominated out there. And you know how the story goes, and if you don't, then you better be on the lookout for the next behind the scenes. Just a little teaser. But yeah, glad to see Javy Baez back. Glad to see the Tigers just rolling right now. Awesome.
Best
Best
team in baseball?
I mean, no, I don't think they're best team. I think they're up there. I think the Dodgers and the Padres are still that 1 and 2. You know what? I actually have the standings right in front of me. Tigers have 29. The Mets have 28. So right now they are the best team in baseball. Look at that.
Okay. Told you.
Oh, I was wrong.
But they're also one of 4 teams to play today, so I should say 1 of 4 games.
Part of me hates and loves like Thursday day off for baseball because I'm like, all right. Like sometimes you get a good game and other times you're just like, oh my God. It's like, are you kidding me? Like I got to wait till 10 o'clock to watch the Dodgers Athletics.
I know.
Which, listen, I don't mind. I like watching the Athletics.
Fun game.
That's a fun team.
That's like a fun game.
Tyler Soderstrom pulled one off Yamamoto and I was like, woo! I was like, later. That ball got tattooed. Just crushed. But hell yeah, dude. A lot of baseball. And we are seeing the return of an all-star. I don't think he's won an MVP. He might have. Or he might have been in the running for one at some point. No, he definitely won MVP.
If you're talking about who I think you're talking about, he won MVP in 22. No, 23.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, 23.
I was going to say. Yeah. I was going to say, he had that big year, and I was like, there's no way he didn't win it. Unless Ohtani went crazy.
No, Raksha won.
If you're trying to figure out who we're talking about, we are talking about the return of one of the most menacing players in the NL East, Mr. Ronald Acuna Jr., who, if you know me and Rich, you know we're Phillies fans. And obviously we celebrated the NL East championship last year because it's a great year. There it is. There's a banner. And if you know us, you know that if there's one team that we hate to see succeed more than we'd like to see the Phillies win, it's the damn Braves.
Well, I mean, the Mets are right there too.
The Braves more so because the Braves have just been on this run for so long and they've got players signed to these low contracts that are just sticking it right in our face. The Mets haven't won anything since the 80s, so I'm like, yeah, you may be good now, but you were good not that long ago and you didn't do anything with it. So until you prove that you can do something when you're good, you really don't scare me all that much.
I mean, Acuna is 27 currently. He's going to be 29 when he becomes a free agent off his 8-year, $100 million deal, which is a disgusting bargain.
That's insane.
Like, it's a bargain. But they have a 27-28 team option on it. And I can't see the Braves saying no, unless he has a third leg that we don't know about and he needs another ACL repair, then maybe they'll decline it. But this guy is going to have to prove himself. They can stay healthy for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Listen, they already lucked out with him and his pedigree so far. For 8 years, 100 million. I mean, Bregman's making 100 million for 3 years.
Yeah, but he's also got opt-outs. So, I mean, if Bregman has the year we think he's going to have, then he may opt out and then force Boston's hand to just pay him more money.
Yeah, and then hopefully he plays first base.
Someone's got to, because I don't see Tristan Casas being there after this year.
Dude, that's a whole nother conversation later about what's going on up north. It's a debacle.
Yeah.
But one thing that we do have to worry about currently is, as you said, Ronald Acuna coming back. And if he is on his dickhead shit, as we say in Philly, then we're screwed. Not screwed, but not screwed per se. But that's just also the Philadelphia negative ideology that we have. What it will be is he will be another menace. I don't have any clue if he's going to be running like he has been, because I'm pretty sure that's both AC. I think it was both legs, both knees. Knees are in the legs, so whatever. I could have got away with that. I would love to see him healthy. He's good for the sport. He's great for the game. Will we, though?
See, 2 ACLs. I mean, even if you take the ACLs out and you look at his injury history, I mean, there is a lot there. And as you put it, he's 27 now. He's got this year and next year left on his deal. And I mean, listen, I don't ever want to wish anything bad on any baseball player, because like that's just not the way to go about it. But like,
No.
This dude has got to stay healthy. I don't want to see him have to deal with like even 2 more injuries before his free agency, because like I want to see Ronald Acuna Jr. get paid, and someone out there is going to pay him. There's no doubt about it. He's got the MVP. He's got the Silver Sluggers. He's got the All-Star appearances. Like, the guy has made a good name for himself. But ACL injuries are the fast ticket to a very cheap prove-it deal, because no one's going to pay over $100 million for multiple ACL surgeries within the span of, 4 years?
Yeah, but 7 years in the majors and let's say 2 full seasons.
Yeah, like that's...
Played 150 games twice. Ignore 2020. He's played 150 games twice.
I mean, that's just goes back to my original point. He's got to stay healthy. He has to. I mean, regardless, with the contracts being handed out now, there's no doubt in my mind someone will give him over $100 million for like 7 years or 6 years, something like that. Because I mean, that's only going to take him to his age 35 season. Still plenty young to get a couple deals after that. But
you got Texas and the Blue Jays always offering huge contracts. So, I mean, maybe he might want to go play with Vlad. Vlad will be there forever.
I genuinely would not hate that. I would love to see the AL East just go crazy.
He wouldn't be in our division anymore to worry about, so cool. And then I could literally say, turn down Porquet. All you not bilingual people. That is, turn down for what? Yes.
Anyway, I just realized we kind of skipped over like the one big story in baseball this week. Well, no, there's 2 of them. Quick shout out to Bud Black, who I called at the beginning of the year that it would happen.
You made it happen.
And I said before the All-Star break, Bud Black was going to get it. And I've been posted it on the Infield Media Instagram. Make sure to follow us over there for all notifications, anything you want to see. I put it up there. They lost 21, I believe, to nothing. I don't think they scored a run. They lost 21-0 to the Padres. I watched that game. I was like, this is humiliating. I felt terrible. Yes. They come out the next day and actually just crush the Padres. Like, they put up 9 runs on them, beat them 9-3. And I was like, okay, that's a great way to turn it around. And Bud Black gets fired after the win. I'm like, can someone explain how this works, please? If you would have fired him after the blowout loss, people would have been like, you know what? I understand, now's the time to do something. Bud Black picks up a win. He comes back to the locker room, and everyone's waiting there for him. Like, yo, Bud, pack up your things, buddy. It's time to head out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they're going to lose well over 100 games. You couldn't fire them after a loss. You picked the one time they win when they're only going to win 30 games this entire season to fire the manager. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? What is Colorado even doing? And it makes me mad to no end because we sit here week after week talking about how bad this team is ran, and Bud Black just lost his job. So, you know what? Congratulations, Bud Black. You'll probably get a job in the next couple months because he's still a fine manager. He seems like a great guy to have in your locker room, a bench coach. If Bud Black knew anything about hitting, I would replace Kevin Long with Bud Black instantaneously. But yeah, that truly sucks. I don't know, man. Rockies suck.
I like you spoke this into fruition, but also at the same time, if you didn't see it coming, you're not paying attention. It is what it is. But also, the Pirates fired their coach this past week too, right? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so whatever, fine. Skenes has someone else to make extremely happy, and then not have to deal with when he leaves. Speak.
Jeff Passan, did you see that today?
That they need to trade him immediately.
Man, oh man, did that get some people fired up. Boy. Loved that. Loved every minute of it. And honestly, here's the thing. I'm on Jeff Passan's side. He is not wrong at all. If you are not going to be able to re-sign Paul Skenes, and you don't believe that the kids you have coming up are going to be able to get you to the promised land, then you should trade Paul Skenes, your blue chip player, and get the players that you need to make a push. Because the last thing you need to do is have a Shohei Ohtani problem when he was with the Angels, where you held on to him for too long, and knowing Ohtani was not going to re-sign, you held on to him at the deadline, and you let him walk for nothing. If the Pirates do the same thing with Skenes, if they do not prove that they are going to be a winner within his contract currently, Paul Skenes is not going to want to stick around in Pittsburgh. And if you don't trade him at that deadline, he is going to walk for free. I'm not saying you have to do it immediately. I'm not saying like go out and trade Paul Skenes right now.
That's hasty. That is a bold choice to do that, because that means you don't give a about your current team.
Absolutely. That is a very bold move. Right now, I would not do it because as bad as Pittsburgh is, you still have a couple kids in the pipeline that could come up and make a little bit of a difference for you.
Yeah. Was it, what's the next Paul Skenes?
Bubba
I forget his name.
Chandler.
Bubba Chandler, who is their equivalent of being Paul Skenes light.
Yeah. See,
I would love to see the backlash if they did get rid of him. Horrible for the city of Pittsburgh. Horrible for the city of Pittsburgh as a whole. Not even just baseball, but horrible for the whole city, as in you just gave up for another 6 years at minimum. At minimum, you gave up for 6 years. I mean, I'm just averaging out time of a draft pick to making the majors. There's give or take.
yeah.
Anywhere between 5 to 8. So, did you hear about what Pittsburgh did with Paul Skenes bobblehead night?
I know they're talking about a Mac Miller bobblehead night, but I did not hear about the Paul
Which is
Skenes one.
kind of awesome. I'm super cool with that.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm a Pirates fan and a Mac Miller fan, I'm like, this is awesome. But if I'm just like a pure baseball fan, I would be like, what the hell are we doing?
Sure, absolutely.
Why are we focusing on this?
Well, I mean, we're both music fans. We're both baseball fans.
Yeah,
we're both fans of bobbleheads. So why not? But the thing is, hopefully it's not the Paul Skenes bobblehead debacle. So when they had his bobblehead night, the first 20,000 fans got a bobblehead. Sold out game.
And that stadium holds how many?
Oh, it's a big stadium. They hold a lot. You do that and I'll finish telling. So they realized they sold out and they looked in the crowd and they went,
So wait, they only had 20,000 bobbleheads.
Correct.
That stadium holds 38,747. So that's almost half the crowd without a bobble.
You did some POing of half your fans. Like
Sucks.
real quick, you made half your fan base feel alienated as hell. So their response was, everybody gets one. They didn't have more than 20,000 made. They issued vouchers. And from what I've heard, they've issued vouchers to the people who didn't get one. Surprisingly enough, your uncle and I were on the way home from work last night. We're listening from the Phillies broadcast in the car
Okay.
on the radio. And we were like, but it took the Phillies broadcast a few minutes to actually get to the point where they said it was vouchers because we were like, so they had 40,000 of them made, but only 20,000 people were going to get it. But it was like a several minute like interval between them saying, well, everyone got vouchers or something along those lines. And me and your uncle literally looked at each other and went, wait, does that mean Pittsburgh ownership is one of those groups of people who drives up the asking price on eBay for things like that? Because they have a plethora of them in overstock. And we heard the voucher and we're like, okay, well, still a dick move.
So I'm trying to fully understand. So only 20,000 people got it. So that's 18,000 vouchers that you had to hand out. How do you know that you're not giving out a voucher to someone who already got a bobblehead and is just like holding it off to the side? Like there's at least, I'll say at least 500 people in that crowd that didn't get the bobblehead when they first got there and then did not get a voucher. So like what?
Listen, you're being generous with 500. You're being extremely generous. It's got to be at least 4,000 people.
I am trying to be extremely nice on the subject, but like,
don't be nice to that ownership.
I mean, my thing is this. If you know what your stadium holds, you can see. I'm assuming that ownership can see that this is a sold out game. The last thing I would ever tell my fans if I was an owner is that everybody gets one.
What are they, Oprah? You get a car. You get a skiing bobblehead. You get a skiing bobblehead.
You get.
And then they're literally, you can see them feeling like amazing, like chancellors in Germany, where they're just throwing off a balcony, and it's nothing but vouchers. And you see one guy grab 97 vouchers and walks away.
I'm fully trying to wrap my head around why you would tell everybody that everybody gets one. Just say the first 20,000 get a bobblehead. If you're not one of the first 20,000, guess what? You're out of luck. That's how that goes. Don't say everybody gets one. Now you got to make 18,000 bobbleheads. What is wrong with these people?
I'm surprised you didn't hear about this. This is one of the dumbest stories I've heard from ownership being like, this is gonna work. Like they're gonna look us again, and then it's like you can't police this any proper way.
Like the one sellout they're probably gonna have all year, and they just completely blow it. you can't do that. Like there's no way.
Sunday might be a sold out game because I believe it's Wheeler versus.
Nah, it's Sanchez.
Okay, Sanchez. Even better. Another Cy Young contender versus Cy Young contender.
Yeah, I did see the upcoming matchup, and I was like, well, was that Skenes and Wheeler? It's Skenes and Sanchez, which, listen, I'm not complaining. That's going to be a great game. Honestly.
Why would you complain? You can't.
Honestly, if work wasn't so slow and I had the funds, I'd probably take the drive out. Like, why not?
I'm off Sunday.
Go to a beautiful stadium. Watch Paul Skenes get no run support. Like,
but also, are we going to give anybody run support? Well, it's not Nola, so we will give him run support. But wait, we did give Nola run support.
Dude,
we did give him. Shut up. All right, we're done. We're done. I can't.
I am so angry at Aaron Nola right now. I'm going to keep it nice and short.
3 of his losses are not entirely his fault.
I am so done with Aaron Nola right now. Like, can we just 15-day DL him, please? Just
No.
and figure out something.
It's a 10-day IL. DL is offensive.
I'm sorry. Give me the 10-day IL. Just sit him for a little bit. I would rather see Taijuan Walker at this very point than watch Aaron Nola go out there and throw batting practice. I can't,
You
dude.
take that back right now.
I will
You
not.
don't say that. Hey, you don't say that.
Who's the retard? You. Hey, you don't say that. Just shut up.
Dude, I can't deal with it. He gave up 12 hard hit balls. Batting practice, man. I have never seen an Aaron Nola start so bad in my entire life. And I couldn't believe we finally give him run support and he gives up 9 runs. What are we doing here? Come on, man. He's among the NL leaders in losses. I can't defend him anymore.
I don't care about losses. But when you're 1-7, damn.
And you have an over 5 ERA. Like,
he should be 2-4 at the minimum. He didn't get run support for the first 5 starts of his season.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you the first 3 games.
Okay, that's fair. However, it is an odd year.
See, the thing that makes me mad about this whole thing is that, and it's been amongst Phillies fans, that when we signed Aaron Nola, we were certain that, like, he is your number 2 starter. Like, this is your number 2 guy. You're paying him $170 million. If you're paying this much money to a pitcher, he should be able to hold his own for the most part with a lack of run support. I don't blame him for the losses where he only gave up a couple and we only put up 1. That's fine. That's the offense's fault. But games like yesterday when he's given up 9 runs on 12 hits in 4 innings, I'm sitting here like, dude, if you're not going to be a fast pitcher, like if you're not throwing high 90s, I expect your control to be a lot better. Like, I'm not asking you to be a Maddox. Like, even if you were on the line of like Kyle Hendricks when Kyle Hendricks was pretty solid, I would take that. But this dude is just throwing meatballs, man. And I just it's bad.
Could take some shades of Dick Mountain.
I'll even take Rich Hill for a couple starts.
Yeah, I mean he's making a comeback. He's trying.
I can't believe he got signed before Tristan McKenzie. Tristan McKenzie is still sitting out there in his age 26 season just going, Rich Hill over me?
And Tristan McKenzie is fully ready to pitch.
If Aaron Nola hit the 10-day and we had no one else, I would not be against signing Tristan McKenzie for a couple starts.
I mean, I would because I would just bring up Mick Abel.
Speaking of Mick Abel, God, I want to throw it in people's faces so bad. So bad. I said it before the season. Mick Abel's going to come back. No, he's not. You see his year last year? He had no control. He was so bad last year. And now look at him. What do you sorry asses have to say now? Get out of my face. I know ball.
Can I say a couple words about why he's pitching so well? He is throwing to the president of vibes, the president of the entire franchise that the Philadelphia Phillies own from top to bottom. He is the president of vibes. He has done nothing but make this Iron Pace staff pretty elite.
Isn't this what we wanted? Like, isn't like a good pitching staff what we've wanted from our minors in general?
I mean, the last time we had this much pitching depth in general was 11, when we had that healthy rotation in the playoffs, and then everyone decided to fall apart.
This is part of the reason why, like, here's the thing. I like Garrett Stubbs. Don't get me wrong. He seems like a really great guy. He seems like the perfect guy to help a minor league pitching staff along. And we see the pitchers down there having more success with Garrett Stubbs behind the plate. Mick Abel has had a complete resurgence. Andrew Painter just pitched tonight. Not sure on his stat line, but they were up 7-2, so I can't imagine it was bad. But, like, you have 2 guys that were once, like, your 1 and your three top prospects in baseball. McAble kind of slipped a little bit, but he's still a relatively good pitcher. You still have Moises Chausse. Like, you still have Seth Johnson, who I'm not sure how he's doing. But, like, you have pitching in the minor leagues that, God forbid something happens in the major league staff, you got guys that you can call up. This is what we've wanted. And shout out to Garrett Stubbs, who has done a great job bringing these kids along. It sucks
not once has either of us ever put any negative words on his game calling and his defensive abilities.
No. His hitting's lackluster in majors.
Well, in the majors, not the minors. Because he, in my opinion, is kind of proving that he is an elite quad A catcher.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
So Painter won tonight and got the win. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 1 home run given up. Painter, 71 pitches, 47 strikes. Not a bad ratio. 2
I would
walks,
take that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Like, that is almost what you're looking for from your major league staff, realistically. Just a couple runs given up. The walks, it's only 2 walks. No, like, I don't mind 2 walks. Like, the strikeouts, they'll come along. Like, you're not going to have a pitcher who every outing is going to give you 10 plus strikeouts. Like, you're going to have a day where they're just making contact. That's just how baseball goes. But, like,
yeah,
realistically, Andrew Painter could see the majors this year as a September call up. If the injury bug, obviously knock on wood. But like you
Painter,
have more guys
before September.
Like, you have a lot of guys who are just that close. The only reason I said, like, September was because obviously the roster expands and, you'll probably see a couple relievers get the call, probably like an infielder. You'll probably get a starter being Painter. Like, I don't know. Phillies are in a good spot right now. And, if Nola continues the way he's going, unfortunately, then you may see Painter even sooner. You may see McAble. Could see Chausse, could see Johnson. A lot of guys, man. I love it for us. It's a good time to be a Phillies fan again.
Lehigh's a fun team right now.
I need to take a trip up there.
I've never been. I would love to go with you.
Yeah, let's plan a trip.
The big thing is right now, they're leading the International League. They're 30-12.
30-12?
Yeah. 7-3 out of the last 10. 7-3 out of the last 10, but they've won 7 straight. So they lost. They got swept and they won 7 straight.
But what a team, dude! They're pulling up on the bus with the speaker blaring, and Garrett Stubbs walking off the bus with the pig hat, going, "Dude, we have come to annihilate you."
Dude, I have to send you the perfect clip for how the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs are showing up to games with a JBL. This is going to play as soon as you said that. Like, they're showing up on the bus. Like, this is going to have to play right after that. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But, dude, they have a 91 run differential. They're plus 91. Dude, this is a fun, strong team right now.
Team is just running on vibes. Thank God for Garrett Stubbs still hanging. I'm so glad that Garrett Stubbs fully accepted, like, the fact that, like, he just needed to go down and just, maybe figure out the bat, help some of the pitchers along, because, like, he has done that and a ton more. Like, and Garrett Stubbs even looks like he's having a ton of fun down there. Like, it doesn't seem like he's throwing a fit that he's not with the major league club. Like, when like, people talk to Garrett Stubbs, like, hey, like, how's it feel, being in AAA? Garrett Stubbs is like, dude, I'm catching for Andrew Painter and Mick Abel. Like this is
yes, incredible, fun. Absolutely. Garrett Stubbs' stat line: batting .303, 4 homers, 25 RBIs, 14 walks, 89 at bats, 23 strikeouts. That's typical Garrett Stubbs type stuff. But he has 27 hits and 4 doubles. Like, the dude's getting on base.
He's just a perfect quad A catcher. He's perfect.
Yeah, like, obviously we have what technically should be the MVP of the International League if it ended today in Otto Kemp. Otto Kemp is playing outstandingly amazing baseball this year.
He's playing really well.
He is 51 for 156. That is a 327 batting average with 10 homers, 37 RBIs, 18 walks, 15 doubles, and 7 stolen bases.
Jesus Christ.
This kid is doing something real good right now. I mean, also, you got Buddy Kennedy down there who's playing his heart out. And I forgot that he was even in our system still.
All I remember is Buddy
No.
Kennedy asked for his release, and the Phillies were like, okay, go ahead. Like, you can try and figure out something. No one signed up, so he's like, oh, I'll report.
He went, Mom, Dad, can I come home? And they went,
They're like,
get in here, you won't so-and-so.
Like, speaking of quad A players, all-time favorite. I'm so mad he didn't work out for the Phillies, but just the perfect quad A player. Scott Kingery is on a damn roll again.
Scott Kingery is playing elite quad A baseball.
He's hitting .438 right now with an OPS of 1.165. This dude is perfection. I can't believe that his hitting coach messed up his swing so bad that he couldn't hit major league pitching, but is the perfect swing for minor league because there's no reason why this man should be hitting 28-4 right now. It is sickening. Sickening how good he is in the minor leagues. I don't understand it. I truly do not. He's
Dude,
perfect.
He is. If you saw him right now, you would kiss him on the mouth. I know it.
Oh, dude, I'd give him a big old hug. I'd be like, come here, you. Come here.
Yeah, that's all.
You beautiful boy. What a guy.
Let me squeeze your forearms and your biceps. You got huge.
All right, enough of that. We do have something more to talk about, though, and this was another big thing in baseball a couple days ago, is that Pete Rose, the Black Sox, a bunch of other players, and the players that were banned before Kennesaw Mountain Landis was named commissioner have all been removed from the banned list. Now, the one thing that needs to be understood is that once the person passes away, they are removed. Like, they're removed from the ban list, and MLB recognizes them for their accomplishments and whatnot in the game. This is awesome. I love it. I'm most happy for Buck Weaver, who we did a behind the scenes on, and the the one that makes me most happy is for James Devlin. And Z can tell you this, like, this was the first behind the scenes we did, and this one has a big spot in my heart because reading his backstory and everything, you know, you learn a lot about these guys, and unfortunately a lot of them were just put in these awful positions to do this kind of thing. And, you know, a big shout out to James Devlin and Buck Weaver. I'm so happy for them both. Buck Weaver fought like hell to get reinstated until he passed away. James Devlin did the same thing. Unfortunately, he died of just a lot of binge drinking, and just once he left baseball, he was just never the same. But I mean, that also includes Shoeless Joe Jackson, who is one of the premier hitters of the 1910s, you know, before the Black Sox got banned in 1919. And now there's talk of putting him in the Hall of Fame. And it does lead to an argument of, you know, does he truly deserve a spot in the Hall of Fame after, you know, the gambling and all of that? And I mean, people are fair to make that kind of assumption because they're not wrong. I mean, as much as Joe Jackson played well in that World Series that they supposedly threw, he still took money to throw the game. You know, he was still a part of the act of purposely losing the World Series, and that should mean something when it comes time for voting in the Hall of Fame. And that all pretty much boils down to the same thing with, Pete Rose now. And, and people may say, well, the gambling thing doesn't really matter. And, he never bet on his own team and all this, all that, or he only bet on his team to win, never bet on them to lose, didn't throw any games. It's like, okay, that's fine and all, but like, we're also talking about the guy who did accept and signed a deal that banned him from not only baseball, but it banned him from the Hall of Fame. But since those are now null and void, there's a lot of talk about Pete Rose getting in the Hall of Fame. And, you can sit here and you can be like, well, he's the hit king and he did all this and 4,000 hits, big deal. Listen, you would not be wrong. 4,000 hits in baseball is insane. Like, it is a wonderful accomplishment.
Can't argue.
But the one thing you have to remember is that the Hall of Fame has certain standards for those who are going in. And one of the standards is you have to be I'm trying to think of the right word for this. You have to be
citizen.
Yes, you have to be an upstanding citizen outside of baseball. Human. Yeah, and if you really want to look at it, Pete Rose is none of those things. Like, he was not an upstanding citizen. The way he,
conducted
I'm not
himself.
going to. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it, what he did. Obviously, you can Google Pete Rose and
14.
all this, all that, and you'll understand, why this is such a hot topic. Me personally,
Google Pete Rose 14.
If Pete Rose doesn't go in the Hall of Fame, baseball is not losing anything. If he does go in, you're going to have a lot of questions on, what are the standards now for the Hall of Fame?
Not even standards, morality.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That's a very good way to put it. There's going to be a lot of questions, and it's ultimately going to lead to the question of the steroid era. Well, these guys did all this on the field, and yeah, they had a little bit of help. Pete Rose did this, and what's worse, and it's going to be a never-ending thing. So, in all my rambling, what I'm trying to say is I love Shoeless Joe Jackson. I'm happy that he's been reinstated, but you need to hold these players to the standards of why it was that they got banned. Joe Jackson still took money, and even though his stats didn't prove he threw the games, he still took money.
Well, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form you alluded to it. Sorry, I had to make sure that everything's okay with the baby for a second.
All right.
I'm sure you alluded to it, but there's one big thing about Shoeless Joe that a lot of people don't truly realize is that there's a standard consensus out there that he was illiterate. And he had no idea what he was signing. Someone lied to him, and he just signed the paper and was like, okay, cool. I don't know, man. I don't know. Am I happy that he has the ability to get in? Sure. I mean, technically, well, it's not even technically, it's factually. There's only one person who has a lifetime ban that's in the Hall of Fame. Do you know who that is? They're currently living.
Not off the top of my head.
It is Roberto Alomar. He's a lifetime ban from baseball.
That's right. I should have known that.
He went in 2011, and he was banned on April 30th, 2021, so extremely recent. Independent investigation into claims that he had harassed a female Blue Jays staffer in 2014. So 7 years prior, after he got banned. They removed the banner honoring Alomar from the Rogers Center and severed all ties with him. However, he's still enshrined in the Hall of Fame, but he is the only currently ineligible player to be enshrined to the Hall of Fame. That was off the field stuff. What Pete Rose is banned from is on the field stuff. His lifetime ban meant within his lifetime. I don't like the allusion to a play on words. Oh, well, lifetime ban only means during their lifetime. So you're going to put someone in and honor them after they pass. What's the point in honoring them? Listen, Shoeless Joe is kind of its own conversation because it's It's up there in the biggest betting scandals of sports history. And when I say up there, I mean it's got to be top three at this point.
I would say. I would say. I would
It
say
might be number
one.
one. It
I'd
might
say
be number
one.
one, but I'm also worldwide. I'm thinking worldwide. I don't know what they do in Premier League with all of their potential scandals and stuff like that. And I mean, FIFA, we already know that they had a whole bunch of stupid happen in the mid. That's on a world scale. We're talking about North America, North American baseball. That's why I'm saying it's top three because I don't know about the world, but it has to be top three. Without a doubt, it's top three. Within our circle, it's one, maybe 1A. That is completely different to what Pete Rose's pedigree is as a human. Because speculation, where there's smoke, there's fire. You're a bad human. You were a bad human. I don't care. I don't want him to be involved in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand why this happened now. I don't know if there's any reasoning behind it. The only person that makes sense to me currently throughout all of these debacles and historical travesties and problematic people is Devlin. I mean, your behind the scenes on him was incredible. And it was extremely enlightening and eye opening to a player that I only knew his name. I didn't know his travel past, his entire story. Well, the entirety that you could find out. If you tarnish the Hall of Fame by adding in someone who has such a bad off the field history, I don't know what to make of the Hall of Fame after that. Because, I mean, at that point, does it open it up to all the steroid users, the PED abusers, everything like that? Because as of right now, are any of the PED users from the late 90s, mid 2000s, are they ineligible? I don't believe so. Some of them fell off the ballot, sure, but are they ineligible? I don't think so. I mean, they can't be if McGuire's a hitting coach. Bonds is still semi around the game. Sosa gets asked back consistently for spring training and stuff like that as assistants go and everything like that. Like Palmero, I'm pretty sure the guy who literally pointed his finger at Congress and said, I did not take PEDs. Well, you kind of deserve to be ineligible because it was proven otherwise.
So this kind of leads to a question I have for you. And you brought up Roberto Alomar as a player who is in the Hall of Fame, but is currently, let's just say,
Ineligible.
he's ineligible. This makes me think of the situation with Mariano Rivera right now. I don't know if you know the story, but obviously he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2019, and then all of these allegations came up earlier this year. If it comes out that like he did know about this whole thing, I mean, where do we really draw the line? Like, because this is going to be something where it's like the greatest closer of all time, arguably, has this on his record. And if we're keeping people out because of their morality, you know, are we just going to give Mariano the pass because of his baseball stats? Yeah, or are we actually going to stand and be like, dude, you know what? Congratulations on your baseball career, but the Baseball Hall of Fame means more than that. Like with all of this stuff coming out, it's like okay, it's like this is a very big thing in baseball right now. Of, you know, now we have this Pete Rose situation, we have the Joe Jackson situation. It's like, okay, these guys both had Hall of Fame careers, they both have the numbers to be in there, but if this is the standard for the Hall of Fame, then we need to look at everything that these guys did. Pete Rose, obviously, great baseball player, horrible person off the field. Joe Jackson, great baseball player. And as, I don't want to say dumb as he is, because I don't think he was dumb. I think he was just misled by, I don't know if it was his teammates that got him in on it. I don't know exactly how it worked. But like, either way, Joe Jackson was still a part of this whole thing. So it's like these are two big spots on their resume. Same thing for Mariano. Like, great pitcher, but this is going to be another thing that sits on his resume. And at some point, the Hall of Fame's got to be like, dude, listen, like, as far as I know, they haven't taken anybody out because of their off-field stuff, but, like, is it going to get to a point where it's like, what else are we supposed to do? Because if we keep Mariano in, if he's guilty, then people are just going to jump all over this and be like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Mariano did that, but we're keeping Pete Rose out for this? It's like,
Yeah.
Baseball's got a lot of questions that I don't even think it's really baseball at this point, because Rob Manfred loves to say, like, we don't have any, like, we don't push anything onto the Hall of Fame voters. Like, we're two completely different entities.
Which is true.
Yeah, no,
It's
it's
true.
100% true. But, like, it's kind of, I don't like that Rob Manfred was like, all right, we're doing this. But, like, when it comes to the Hall of Fame stuff, don't look at me. Like, that's got nothing to do with me. Like, that's because of these guys. It's like, hold on, dude. Like, you made this possible. Don't all of a sudden open the door and then run away. Like, no, I don't know. It's going to get real interesting in the next year or so when we learn more.
The Mo situation it's very difficult, because in this day and age, you're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. And without a doubt, all colors, all signs, every flag you can see flying is pointing to guilty for a sane person. I don't want to get into it. This could tarnish the legacy of the Hall of Fame if they keep him in. Alomar, listen, it's a bad situation because he harassed a female employee of an MLB team. I don't think his pedigree is worthy of keeping him in. I don't know if anybody's ever actually been ejected out of the Hall of Fame.
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. Like, I think it's once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
I think that's the same for all four major sports. I don't think anybody's ever been taken out. I could be wrong. We're
So,
nowhere near as
we'll
old
search.
as some of those people out there who have the knowledge of four major sports and their entire history. But currently, this situation could get really hairy, really dicey, really quick, especially once it reaches a courtroom, because it has to.
Yeah.
It has to. I mean, you're involved. The only goal, I'm not sticking up for him whatsoever. I'm just speaking in what I know from Law and Order and suits and everything that has to do with lawyers, especially on TV. It's about you proving you're innocent, because all signs are pointing to your involvement in some way, shape, or form. So it's a dark era for the Rivera family, and it's gonna be. But also, in this day and age, Jay, even if you're found innocent, do people forget?
No one ever forgets.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again?
That was like 8 years ago, asshole.
People don't forget.
People don't forget.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said, baseball is going to have a lot of questions to answer. The Hall of Fame is going to have a lot of questions to answer, and obviously, as these things unravel, we'll keep you guys up to date with it the best we can. But I think it's about that time that we jump into the ninth inning here and hop into final thoughts. But I'll pass it over to Richie because I know Six Beers has something nice for you.
Yeah. So I mentioned during the intro that two players have officially retired in Tony Kemp and Matt Carpenter. Well, unfortunately, someone else got released as of yesterday, and that is the Dodgers backup catcher for 67 years, Austin Barnes. The guy was he was a myth. He was just a target, but he was quite possibly one of the best backup targets baseball's ever had. Jay, if I'm correct, he was the sole catcher for Kershaw, right? I'm pretty sure he was.
I believe so. I think because I know, God, we're going back. Like, this is before Will Smith. I think it was Kershaw and AJ Ellis for a while.
You might be right. Yes, you are right.
And then AJ Ellis, I think, either got traded or released, and then I think Barnes became Kershaw's guy.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're 100% right. So as they're getting rid of their longest tenured Dodger, his 11th season, few far between you see a Dodger last that long. It's kind of wild to look at historical stats and see how many people have played an entire career with the Dodgers.
It's not to drop in on you. I'm genuinely surprised Chris Taylor's still a Dodger, to be honest with you.
Agreed. He's been there a while too. I don't know how many years, but it's been quite a few. So they called up the number 15 prospect in MLB in Dalton Rushing. Cool name, by the way. Cool name, kid. He's slashing 308 in 31 games in AAA. He's got some pretty solid stats down there. Kind of a five-tool catcher, but he also plays the outfield. So he is now going to be Will Smith's backup. Very different vibe now because he even said, I bounced around. I've been at many different positions. It's been a grind. It's because essentially no one knows, and the reality is there might be two or three guys who really know the odds of what position I'll play when the time comes. But the big thing is his bat's ready. His bat is ready, and we'll be happy when we see his debut. I mean, I know the kid's going to be a tough out. He's going to be a good player. Will it happen immediately? It's baseball, baby. Who knows? There are few far between players who debut and dominate. One had their bobblehead the other night, but that's, like I said, few far between. But the last thing I wanted to give off for the night was I'm going to take something away from Jay and doing it on this day in baseball history.
You are unbelievable.
It's not going to be the same one. It can't be.
Go
I'd
ahead.
be surprised. The Red Sox and the White Sox played the slowest nine-inning game to date in Major League history. 1991, 4 hours and 11 minutes. Boston came back from a 5-0 deficit to win 9-6. I feel like a 4-hour game wasn't that weird a couple years ago.
I can get down with a 4-hour game any day of the week. You give me
We could definitely.
4 hours at the ballpark? You kidding me? Am I
But
dreaming?
the biggest problem is what happens if it was 3 hours? Oh, I'm sorry. What happens if it was 2.5 hours till the 7th? And you got an hour and a half where concessions are gone.
I would have a problem with that. I would really have a problem with that. But spending that kind of time at the ballpark, though, I'm down. It's like, that's perfect for me.
All right, Jay, I'm done. You do your thing, babe.
All right. So, final thoughts from me. I'll be honest. I'm glad you've taken over on this day in MLB history. I did it for the first season. I'm glad you've picked it up in the second.
One last thing for you, babe. I got you. Stop being
Final
pretty.
thoughts. Like, I really don't have a lot to go on. Really, I'll be honest with you. You know, we talked about Bud Black. We talked about Rafael Furcal throwing missiles at somebody.
So, the funny thing is, to interject on that, apparently, from what I've read, technically your vehicle going through a building can be considered a missile. So, I'm not sure if he's rolled his vehicle through a building.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, I will take that as definition for call.
The dude did throw hard as he threw hard as from shortstop. I know he had a power arm, but I don't think he could throw a missile.
It's genuinely just hard to believe that, like, scroll through Instagram, you see Rafael Furcal's mugshot. You're like, what is happening in baseball? Like, what
I know that. I know that face. Was he a Brave? Is he a Dodger? Huh.
But, I mean, Rich ultimately said it best. Shout out to Tony Kemp and Matt Carpenter. Both players called it a career. I saw Tony post it on X, which, you know, older kids still call Twitter. And Tony Kemp wrote in the post and said, like, I want you guys to leave your favorite memories of me in the comments. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect because Infield Media has had an interaction with Tony Kemp. I was like, oh my God, I'm posting it. Like, this is perfect.
He stared right at us and was confused as to what I said to him.
So, as the story goes, the Athletics played the Phillies in opening series. Me and Rich I think we're at the second game, and we were maybe three rows behind the Phillies dugout and just heckling the almighty out of the Athletics. And Tony Kemp got on base. Can't remember. I think he got a hit, but Tony Kemp was on
3 times that game.
Tony Kemp was on first, and I screamed out. I screamed out nice cleats to Tony Kemp. Kemp turned around, gave me a little smirk. I forget exactly what Rich said, but Tony Kemp turned back around and just stared at us. And I was like, my God, dude. Like, Tony Kemp is never going to forget this. And when I saw the post today, I was like, I have to tell this story. This is just such a great story. And, you know, it's so weird when you see players that, like, you vaguely remember when they came up and then all of a sudden they're retiring. You're like, oh my God, dude, like I'm 10 years older than when this dude debuted. Like I was 20 when Tony Kemp came in the league and he retired and I was like, holy shit, I'm 30. Like 31, honestly.
So this took place April 10th, 2022. The A's beat us 4-1 that day.
Did they really?
Yes, because we won the first 2 games. We won 9-5 and then 4-2.
Oh, we saw a loss. That sucks.
The heckles that I gave Tony Kemp, it was an elite heckle. I am not saying I'm coming off a bender that night, but I did not go to sleep. And I was at a party all night prior.
I remember that.
I took a 25-minute nap in Jay's car when we parked. Pounded 4 High Life before we walked into the stadium. It's bringing back rough. Like my body feels rough now thinking about that day because it was also a very overcast day. It had to be like maximum 58 degrees, maybe 65 max. Little windy. It stunk. It was not baseball weather. And as you said, we were sitting like 3 to 4 rows back behind home plate, or behind Phillies dugout. And I remember the look on your face and the 2 dudes next to us who are our age when I said, "Hey, Tony, how's your Sunday? I heard you take change at the collection plate."
That's what it was.
And he stopped as soon as he reached first base and he looked dead in my eyes. And he was like, "The did you just say to me?" And it was like, I'm not sure if he said that, but that's what his face said. It's also because I was the only person still standing in that section. And I'm pretty sure the A's first base coach it was him, and pointed directly at me. And Jay, I remember you go, "Yo, sit down. And I was like, okay. So I sat down. And you went, "Where did that come from?" And the 2 dudes who were next to us like, "That was incredible. It's mean, but that's incredible."
Let's say that's exactly what it was. The only thing I remember about that was that I dragged you to the casino after that, and then I won like 300.
Dude, I was you hit well, but I was dead.
I hit for like $350 at the roulette wheel, and I was like, "All right, we're out here. Let's go." Phillies may have lost, but at least someone won. I don't even know what happened to that money.
The dude we were sitting next to joined us, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I spent a couple hours prior to the game at Xfinity Live, and their bathrooms are horrible to do cocaine in." And I was like,
fact.
All right.
I remember he told me he was the grandson of Ed Delahanty, the old Phillies player. And the reason why I know Ed Delahanty is because he passed away at Niagara Falls. Whether he got swept by the current or whatever, but it's assumed that he went over the falls and perished. So,
Gone.
Little fun known fact, Ed Delahanty. This is my problem with baseball, dude. I know baseball history better than I know my family history. And when someone's like, "Oh, you ever heard of Ed Delahanty?" I'm like, the dude that went over Niagara Falls. It's like, yeah, actually, I know his grandson.
And then someone looks at you and goes, "Allegedly."
Baseball is weird, man. It's only going to get weirder, unfortunately.
Of course it's going to get weirder. That's the way the game is.
It's about that time, though. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to Drunks on the Pond. Listen, a lot's going to happen Damon's going to be back next week, so you'll definitely get caught up on all the nonsense spewed today. But for the time being, I'm Jay. That's Rich. This has been, you already know, Drunks on the Pond. I hope you all have a very happy Saturday. And Z, if you could just do me a favor, baby, hit that music. It's time to get the hell on out of here. Peace.
Woo!